Thank you. Good afternoon, members of the public, officers, and welcome to this South East Area Planning Committee meeting on Wednesday, the 30th September 2020. My name is Councillor Michael Helm. I am the Vice Chairman of this committee, deputising for the Chairman, Councillor Richard Dewick. This meeting is held under new regulations which came into effect on the 4th of April in the response to the COVID-19 situation, and there are just a few housekeeping issues to run through. First of all, please may I ask everyone present at this meeting to ensure your microphone remains muted and your video feed off when not addressing the committee. This will reduce background noise and avoid any unintentional disturbance. The meeting is being hosted remotely and streamed live and recorded, and by being in the meeting, you are giving your consent to being recorded. Members and officers, during each item, please use the chat function of the meeting to indicate if you wish to speak. I will then invite you at the appropriate time. Members are reminded that apart from indicating you wish to speak and that you have to leave the meeting, the chat function should not be used for questions or any other purpose. Please do not use the raise hand function, as this is not available on all members' devices. When speaking and refer to agenda paper, please ensure your reference a page or paragraph number. And last, if members need to leave the meeting at any point, please do make this known and use the chat function to signify you need to leave the meeting. Now may I ask officers taking part in the meeting to introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Chairman. I am Matthew Lee, Lead Specialist Place and Chief Plan Officer here at Walton District Council. Thank you.
Michael Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman. Michael Johnson, Development Management Lead Specialist. Thank you.
Hannah Bowles.
Good afternoon. I'm Hannah Bowles, a specialist in development management.
Thank you. Berna.
Good afternoon, members. Berna Casey, clerk to the meeting.
Thank you, Berna. May I have the apologies for absence, please, Berna?
Chairman, I'll take a roll call of all members first.
Oh yes, roll call first, sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. Members, I will call your names in alphabetical order, starting with Councillor Bassinger.
Berna, he said that if he wasn't here for me to send his apologies. I think he's having a meeting at MDC.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stamp. Councillor Beale. Councillor Beale. OK, we'll move on, members. Councillor Bell.
Yes, I'm present, Berna.
Thank you. Councillor Boyce.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Channer.
Hello, Berna. Good morning, everyone. I'm present.
Thank you, Councillor Channer. Councillor Fluker. Councillor Fluker. Councillor Helm.
Present.
Councillor Hull.
Yes, I'm present. I'm here.
Thank you. Councillor Skeens. Councillor Skeens. Councillor Stamp.
Hi, Berna. Hi, members. I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Now may I ask any members in attendance to introduce themselves, please?
Good afternoon, Councillor Bamford.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. May I have apologies for absence, please, Berna?
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Bassinger and Councillor Dewick have sent apologies for absence.
OK, thank you very much. Minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the meeting held on the 2nd of September 2020 found on pages 7 to 20 are approved as a true accurate record. I so move. If you wish to second that motion, please turn on your video, unmute your microphone and state your name now, please.
I'll second that, Chairman. Councillor Penny Channer.
Thank you. If any members wishes to raise any matters of accuracy, please use the chat function to indicate and I will invite you to speak. Everybody happy?
Agreed.
Agreed,
Right.
Chairman. Thank you.
No, that's not done. Do we need to take a vote, or are we quite happy?
We don't normally take a
Chairman.
vote.
Accept, Chairman. Accept the minutes.
Right. Declaration of interest. Disclose the existence and nature of any disposable pecuniary interests, other pecuniary interests and non-pecuniary interests relating to items of business on the agenda having regard to paragraphs 6 to 8, inclusive of the Code of Conduct for members. Members are reminded that they are also required to disclose any such interests as soon as they become aware, should the need arise throughout the meeting. If any member has an interest to declare, please use the chat function now to indicate, and I will invite you to speak. Anybody?
Councillor Channer, Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. My normal one, Chairman, must declare non-pecuniary item in that I'm also a member of Essex County Council. And of course, that is a consultee regarding planning applications on matters of highways, access, education, and anything really within its remit they should be consulted on through the planning process by Malden.
Thank you. Anybody else? I need to declare a personal prejudicial interest in item 5. It's across the river from me, although I'm in Latchington, that is in London, and I know the people over there. But I believe it has been withdrawn anyway, so I'll just read it out and let the officers say whether it's been withdrawn or not. If it isn't, I shall leave the meeting. Item 5, Mapledean Poultry Farm, Mapledean, London, Essex. Would officers like to confirm whether that's been withdrawn or not, please?
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chairman. That item has been withdrawn from consideration at this committee.
Thank you very much. I now move on to item 6, 20-00609/OUT, Wooderdale Manor, Burnham Road, Hawthorne. Found on pages 59 to 92. In a moment, I will call on officers to print this item. Members are reminded, if you wish to speak on this item, please make this known using the chat function within this meeting. I will then come to you in turn. Please keep your points clear and concise. Oh, hang on a minute. Sorry about that, members of the public and officers. Someone rang. Where have I got? Members are reminded that if you wish to use this, to speak on this item, please make this known using the chat function within the meeting. I will then come to you in turn. Please keep your points clear and concise. Mr. Bowles, will you present the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. So outline planning permission with matters of access, appearance, layout and scale for determination is sought for the demolition of the existing buildings and erection of 14 dwellings with associated infrastructure. The current proposal follows a previous application for the same proposal that was refused at South East Area Committee in June 2019 for 5 reasons. The amendments to the previous scheme relate to the inclusion of 6 affordable housing units, updated marketing and loss of employment land information, minor amendments to the layout, and 3 additional house types are proposed. So here is the location plan. And we have the existing site plan. And the proposed site plan. Plots 1 to 6 are the 2-bed affordable units, and plots 7 to 14 are a mix of the 3 and 4 bedroom units. We've got the existing elevations, floor plan and floor plans of the 6 existing buildings to be demolished. This is Winterdown Manor and Building A. And then we've got Building B and Building C. And Building D and Building E. We've got the proposed elevations, floor and roof plans of the 2-bed dwellings. And there is proposed to be 2 rows of 3 terrace dwellings. We've got the proposed plans for the 3-bed dwellings that will occupy plots 8 and 12. proposed plans of the 3-bed dwellings that would occupy plot 7 and 10, and the proposed plans of the 3-bed dwelling that would occupy plot 14. We've then got the proposed plans for the 4-bed dwelling proposed to occupy plot 13, and the proposed plans for the 4-bed dwelling to occupy plots 9 and 11. Here are the street scene elevations. We've got the existing, proposed, and the previously refused scheme, the street scene elevation. You can see here the built form has intensified in this area. And then we've got the site photos. As previously stated, the application is a resubmission of a previously refused scheme. Whilst the amendments to the scheme have overcome some of the previous reasons for refusal, the site lies in an unsustainable location outside of the defined settlement boundaries of Hawthorne. The construction of 14 dwellings spread across the entire site would result in the urbanisation and domestication of the site and a sprawl of built form outside of the settlement boundary. The amendments to the layout and proposed house types is considered to have failed to visually enhance the proposal, and the limited architectural merit of the development continues to contribute to the harm. In addition, a legal agreement to secure the affordable housing and RAMS contribution has not been submitted to the council. Therefore, the application is recommended for refusal. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We now have, under Council Public Participation Scheme, we have received 3 submissions in line with Public Participation Scheme. I have reviewed these and now ask Mr Johnson, Lead Specialist Development Manager, to read to the committee, allocating 2 minutes for each. Carry on, Mr Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman. Submission 1 from Richard Bray on behalf of the applicant. Thank you for the opportunity to make this statement in support of the development at Winterdale Manor. We acknowledge that the site is just outside the defined settlement boundary and that the council has a 5-year supply of housing. This statement addresses why the positive aspects of the scheme should outweigh any harm and why we consider that the application should be supported by members. The site is brownfield in nature and was used for office and light industrial purposes. It has been vacant since 2014 and has been extensively marketed and demonstrated that this use is no longer sustainable. It is a matter of national planning policy for land to be used effectively, particularly brownfield sites, and we consider that the best alternative use for the site would be residential. It is immediately adjacent to the settlement boundary and in our opinion would not be a detriment to the intrinsic character and beauty of the countryside. We have worked hard to address the concerns raised in previous proposals for the site. This application is only in outline, and as such, further refinement can be carried out to the scheme design at the reserved matter stage, and we would be eager to work with your officers to ensure this does fit with the characteristics of the villages at this stage. The scheme has remained at 14 units, partly to ensure that we accommodate as many small units as possible, but also to ensure the site can remain viable and provide the full policy compliant level of affordable housing. We feel that this is particularly pertinent as in our research, we found that the whole of Hawthorne currently has just 8 affordable homes. Our proposal will add significantly to this. Our proposals take the total up to 13, representing a 61% increase in the affordable housing stock in the village. We are willing to enter into a Section 106 agreement for the delivery of these units and to secure the RAMS permit. The council has a current 5.27-year supply of housing, although this should not be seen as a ceiling to housing provision. We contend that where there are strong circumstances to support additional windfall sites that were not allocated in the local development plan, then these should be given very careful consideration and not dismissed out of hand. We consider Winterdale to be such a site. It has no reasonable prospect of being put back into commercial use. It is immediately adjacent to the existing settlement boundary on one side, with industrial use on the other, and if developed, it will provide much needed affordable housing in a village with minimal existing provision. We therefore urge you to consider these positive benefits that the scheme can bring to the village and wider community and vote to approve our application, subject to the finalisation of the Section 106 agreement. And I'll move on to submission 2 from Councillor Paul Burgess, Chairman of Althorne Parish Council. Our locus is the Malden District Local Development Plan and its directive, the National Planning Policy Framework. Central is an assumption in favour of sustainable development. This application ticks several boxes. It eliminates an unsightly brownfield site, is contiguous with the village envelope, is well designed and sympathetic to the environment. Promoted by a ward entrepreneur, hopefully there will be benefits to the local economy. Our opposition is in your notes. I should like to focus on sustainability and the village envelope. Sustainability, lacking facilities. Hawthorne is designated a smaller village. It is not a sustainable location for new housing. The Planning Inspectorate has upheld multiple refusals by the Planning Department. If Hawthorne is not a sustainable location for single house projects, it most certainly is not suitable for a significant development of 14 dwellings. Village envelope. Hawthorne is atypical in having the southern one covers properties on a T-shaped configuration on 2 major roads. Winterdale Manor abuts the northern envelope, also on a T-junction. There are multiple developable sites contiguous with the envelopes. 2 sites recently were refused and Planning Inspectorate appeals dismissed. This is not an isolated one-off. You also need to be aware that the village envelopes effectively are built out. Given sustainability issues, it seems unlikely any variation of the boundaries would be permitted. This application is akin to the virus COVID-19 breaching the membrane of our parish cell. Approval means ripping up the LDP. Good luck with that. Submission 3 from an objector, Mr. Terry Inkpen. Winterdale Manor has been part of the village scene since the mid-19th century, predating most of the existing village, and is described in the response from the conservation officer as an old and relatively handsome building. Its designation for business use in recent years has effectively preserved the building, and it is shown as a business premises in the Hawthorne Village Design Statement, which states that the old building should be sympathetically restored. Should this application be approved, not only will Winterdale be lost, but the opportunity to provide much needed sustainable business accommodation with minimum travel for the area will go also. There are plenty of houses in the pipeline, but an application for business premises in Latchenden 18/01034 by the same applicant as this one, which is included in the pack in front of you on page 34, section 5.59, laments the lack of suitable business accommodation within 5 miles of Latchenden. The unconvincing loss of employment land justification statement included with this application as a picture on the front cover, which shows Winterdale Manor in all its previous glory, similar to the one in the visual design statement, before the site was allowed to deteriorate in the past few years and the trees were cleared. It could look the same now with sympathetic restoration and be an attractive part of the village again. The site is outside the village development boundary, and 16 applications out of 20 for development in Hawthorne since 2013 have been rejected, with unsustainable location mentioned in the reasons for refusal. The proposed development itself looks too crowded and would not fit into the village scene. Whilst consideration for screening from the road and neighbouring properties has taken place, who would be responsible for maintaining the landscape area fronting the road and policing the parking on the site? I urge that this application should be rejected. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. I need to take some advice from Mr. Lee, please, before I continue. Mr. Lee?
Yep. Yes,
I
Chairman.
lost connection during the presentation. Am I allowed to continue and do the recommendation, or have I got to withdraw from the meeting?
My understanding is the current legislation allows for a certain level of disconnection. It depends on how much you feel that you obviously I wasn't present for. I'm not sure how much you did or didn't see. So the legislation does allow, because obviously remoteness and internet dropping in and out. So if you consider it was a relatively small amount, I think you can continue, but it's in your gift to decide that.
It was probably about a minute. Is that good enough? Are members happy that I continue?
Yes.
I have tried to check the download list, but it's not dropping into my file at the moment. The attendance list, I mean, downloaded it just to look at timings.
Well, I'll continue, but not vote at the end of the meeting, okay? Does that satisfy everyone's requirements?
The only issue, obviously, if it was to become a casting vote, Chairman.
I won't cast a vote and I won't vote at all.
What happens, though, if we need a casting vote at the end?
I won't vote.
The application will fail.
Sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Chairman,
Yes, Bob.
if you fail to cast, the application will fall.
Okay, well, I'll have to cast then, won't I?
No, that sounds
Have to
fair.
vote. You don't have to vote, Chairman. You don't have to vote originally.
Right, we won't vote. Let's carry on. Any other officers want to comment before I move the recommendation? No, the recommendation as set out within the report is as follows. Recommendation that planning application Winterdale Manor, Burnham Road, Hawthorne be refused for the reasons as detailed in section 8 of the report. If any member wishes to second that motion, please turn on your video, unmute your microphone and state your name now.
Seconded, Councillor Bell.
That's Bill, thank you very much. If any member wishes, thank you. If it now invite members to make any comments on the report. Members?
Councillor Helm, we've got Councillor Boyce and Councillor Bell wishing to.
Right, Councillor Boyce first and then Councillor Bell, please.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, the applicant's agent mentioned social housing in the village, so I better declare that I'm a trustee of that social housing. That's the first point. I didn't know that I would need to say that at the start of the meeting. Chairman, as you can see, I actually called this application in.
That's correct.
I thought that the previous application come to the committee, and I thought that it was reasonable that this application should also come to the committee. My main reason was the affordable housing element. Now, Hawthorne, other than those almshouses, has got no other form of social housing, as was pointed out by the applicant's agent, I think. Now, Hawthorne does need social housing for the young people of the village. However, our present system would not allow any social housing that we may grant to be conditioned to people from the village. So for that reason, I would at this stage not support this application. However, while I'm speaking about affordable housing, we have got an agreement with other local authorities about our housing, affordable housing, and who has the affordable housing, which before the world turned upside down, I thought that we were going to review and make sure that the affordable housing in our district, which is not inconsiderable at that stage, we would be able to appoint people from the district to, rather than have the chance of people from outside. Those are my reasons for bringing this to the committee chairman. As I said, that although we need affordable housing in our villages, we can't guarantee that the village people will get them. So therefore, I think I will support the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Bell now, is it next?
Thank
Yes,
you, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, with all due respect to Councillor Boyce, because something's affordable doesn't make it sustainable if it is in a sustainable location. And I think the officers have prepared excellent reports on this, and I think we should support their recommendation. It contradicts all the plans, it contradicts the LDP and many, many policies. So I'm in favour of refusing this application. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak?
Councillor Channer.
Councillor Channer?
Thank you, Chairman. Like Councillor Boyce, now the word social was mentioned in what was read out to us, I will be declaring I'm also a trustee of an almshouse charity. And actually, I think I have read the previous report, minutes and everything. It looks at the previous application. I've read this report, Chairman. I think actually Councillor Bell has really probably summed up what I was going to say. And I bear very much in mind that Hawthorne, there's been several applications in Hawthorne, not on this site necessarily, elsewhere as well, whereby various applicants did go to appeal, and the authority has won every one of those appeals, in that it was deemed to be by the inspectorate, different inspectors, that Hawthorne was not a sustainable location, and that having the railway and all that, which was made by arguments as well, for reasons explained in all those appeal statements, wasn't seen as the deciding factor, that Hawthorne is unsustainable. So I must support the officer's recommendation, and like Councillor Bell, I thought it was a very good report, a fair report.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Councillor Stamp.
Councillor Stamp.
Yes, just ditto, Chairman. I think it's an excellent report. I commend the officer who wrote it, and I totally agree with the officer recommendation on this one, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else?
No, Chairman.
Berna, can we now take the vote on the officer's recommendation, please? And I will not be voting. Berna, can you take the vote,
Yes,
please?
yes, I'm just getting the voting sheet up, Chairman.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Please bear with me for a moment, because I was downloading the attendance sheet. Thank you. So, members, I will call you in alphabetical order, starting with Councillor Bell.
4.
Councillor Boyce.
4.
Councillor Channer.
For the officer recommendation. Thank you, Berna.
Councillor Hall.
Councillor Hull.
You, Councillor Stamp.
4, Berna.
Thank you very much. Members, that's 5 for the officer's recommendation, none against and no abstentions.
That is duly carried. Item 7, any other item of business that the chairman of the committee decides are urgent? I've only one thing to mention. Thank you very much for allowing me to chair the meeting for these few times. And I hope Richard will be back at the next month. And from then on, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you. Close of the meeting. Members, thank you for the opportunity this afternoon. I draw the meeting to a close at 13:29. As the meeting is now closed, member advised not to enter in any further discussion on this forum, and please leave the meeting promptly. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chairman.